All right, man. We got the legendary Bad Azz in the house today.
What's up, world?
Man, we really appreciate you coming by Urban City TV today, man.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
We in here with a legend. Legend I grew up listening to, man. So Bad Azz, why don't you give all our viewers out there just a background and the evolution of Bad Azz and who you are and where you came from and how you got into the hip hop game.
That's dope. For one, I've been in love with hip hop since I was a little single digit kid, probably, 7, 8 years old. I think I learned The Message, Melly Mel. I learned that song. And it was like, I like it to this day. Still one of my favorite hip hop records of all times, but I didn't understand it as well as I knew it. So it was kind of one of those things like learning a different language. When I used to hear in my early days that Snoop would go to Japan before I went, and they would sing every word and they don't even know English. It kind of it fascinated me a bit to hear that, and I was like, how could somebody sing a song and they don't even know the language of the song? But I had to really consider the fact that when I was 7, 8 years old, I'm singing the song the same way, every single word, but I don't really know this language. I don't know half the shit they talk about on a song, but I could have sing it word for word, So it was kind of different. I feel like that's the similar concept of them doing that. So that was just how I fell in love with hip hop, and my city got on the map from Snoop Dogg. Shout out to the big homie.
Okay. So you got some of your friends coming up in the hip hop game, Snoop Dogg, and Snoop Dogg gets put on, and then he starts bringing, he has the Dog Pound, Corrupt, and Daz. How did you get introduced on the scene?
Well, I met Snoop. First of all, I got introduced to Snoop Dogg's music early, not knowing that certain ones of my family members, I got a couple of family members that knew Snoop before I did. I might even ran into him previously than I met him, but that's neither here nor there. But we had been around each other since earlier. A couple of my older cousins and my aunt knew him. His cousin Joe Cool, he knows my aunt and some of my family. But I was hanging with my homies, and we had already been onto the rap scene. One of my buddies, Darachi, I did a skit that was titled Darachi's MC on my first album. One of my teenage partners that I used to roll with every day, and one of his cousins was super cool with Snoop, and he used to always bring his tapes with Snoop on them. I won't say I'm not 100% sure if that was the first time I ever heard Snoop Dogg, but my fondest memories is my homie Darachi bringing over tapes like, Bad Azz, you gotta hear this Snoop Dogg freestyle, And this was every bit of 1990, 91, and Snoop hadn't even hooked up with Dre yet the first time I heard his stuff. So a lot of people in Long Beach was making music. Some of those earlier songs was hitting the streets, coming to our junior highs and our high schools. Shout out to the Dove Shack. They was called Big Nuts back then. They had a song called Take Some for Now and Save Some for Later, and it was buzzing through the city. To this day, I always see them and I'll be like, take some for now and save some for later. So it was one of those hit records. Domino was popping. Shout out my boy Schoolblow Kia, a part of my Low Life crew. His cousin is Domino, so early in the 90s, I was hearing Domino records. He was on the Bloods and Crips project.
He was Genuine Draft,
exactly.
Right?
So we was listening to Genuine Draft. We was listening to a lot of his stuff as Domino before the world heard him as Domino, and all of those things was just influential to have the city. I honestly, as a teenager, I didn't really trip off of it that way, that it was influencing me to do it. I was already in love with hip hop. I had already wrote my first rhymes probably 11, 12 years old. This was years before that, So I was in love with hip hop, and as it started coming, it was just so local to us because you got to think, Domino had put out a record, but Bloods and the Crips album was not like NWA, not like LL Cool J where it was big. We knew it was local. You know, we knew that it was people far that knew about it, but it wasn't a big thing. So for us to have local stuff that we looked at like, oh, this is shit, you know, stuff that we jam, for us to even make records or even think about doing a song, the best part about it is that Snoop Dogg blew it up to a level that we started making records that got listened to by people that we never thought would hear about us, or fans that listen to Run DMC listen to our records, fans that listen to Beastie Boys listen to our records, fans that listen to people that we loved, that we would never think that these same people would even get a hold of music that we did, you know, let alone love it. Now we got a platform to where Snoop hooks up with Dre, and it put our city on the spotlight. And you look at it 20 years, something odd years later, I can't even name how many rappers is from Long Beach right now. When I could tell you every rapper from Long Beach that I knew and was good friends with, that was famous, you know? And even the ones that weren't. I could tell you who was next up in Long Beach. 15 years ago, I could be like, yeah, what's his name about to blow? Before Goldie Loc got on, I was like, Goldie Loc next, you know? But now it's like, I don't even know who's coming out the city next. There's so many kids making music. It's so many kids that I would say post Death Row era, post us, like our early, put it like this, the second phase, I feel like a lot of kids came out, a lot of names, you know, got put on the scene, but they had yet to blow up. They hadn't made like success without having features with us, you know, things like that. But now you have artists that they bubbled their way up so big that we had to come home and do songs with them, or, you know, they became forced to be reckoned with. So now I look at it like we are a small mecca for hip hop, you know, and it showed over the last 20 years that there's a lot of talent out of Long Beach. And not only is there talent, what happens is when you coming up under a wave that's prominent, it's sought after, people got the eye on it. But there's kids that are probably 10, 12 years old that in the next 5 to 10 years, they'll do music, not just because they want to do music, but I come from a place that's like a Hollywood of hip hop music. Yeah. You know, it's a mecca. We could come with good stuff here. Kids like Vince Staples, like he didn't blow up with a Bad Azz feature or a Snoop Dogg feature, you know? He was making noise. When I first heard of Vince Staples, it was my little cousin telling me, yo, one of my homies is booming right now. That was how I heard of him, you know? And I feel like that's basically what I'm explaining, that it was a time that you wasn't coming out of Long Beach and blowing up if you didn't know Snoop or hang with any of us. Yeah. You know, now the city is just so on blast where people know it's talent there. People hone their talents because they're from there.
Definitely. So back to when you were coming up and you're out there on the hip hop scene and Snoop's blowing up, who called Bad Azz and said, hey, you know, we want you to be part of this group, the Eastsiders, or we want you to come lay some tracks? I mean, who was it that called you?
Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg called you.
Yeah. So when I met Snoop, I had already been listening to some of his underground stuff. He had Deep Cover out. The Chronic album was, I think it was in the mix and it was about to release, or maybe it had just dropped, because I met him in '92. That was the year the Chronic came out. And I'm almost sure I met him before it dropped, but it was like an instant chemistry. He's a couple years older than me, so I think that helped me become close to him, because I think he instantly looked at me like a little brother, a little cousin, a younger him in a sense, because soon as I met him, I rapped for him. My homie that had Darachi, they used to bring the tapes. We was actually out selling crack cocaine. For real. We had it was a block in the hood we used to go sell crack on, and we was young. We'd take $100 to go flip it up, make us a few hundred. And me, Darachi, my homie Hollywood, and it might have been one more of us. I had to always talk to the stories with the guys, because it was like 4 of us came from the little dope spot, all had a little money on us, and we was waiting on the bus. So the bus was taking long, and we was going east up toward Signal Hill area where we stay. And as we was going up, we stopped by VIP. And we sat in front of the bus stop for a minute, looked down the street, see if the bus was coming. One of the homies looked up and was like, there goes Snoop. Now, mind you, we listening to this dude's mixtapes all the time. He come up in conversations, a few times a week at this point, and he not super famous to the world, He got the Deep cover was out, and like I said, they was either working on the Chronic, about to drop it, or it just came out. So he was bubbling, but the homie was like, there goes Snoop. And I was like, oh, shit. And then one of my guys was like, you should go rap to him. Let him hear your shit. And I was like, I'm cool. And then one of my guys was like, no, go ahead. I said, nah, so bottom line, the conversation got to me saying, all right, well, if y'all really want me to go do it, y'all go say what's up to him and, set up the introduction. I don't know him. You know him. You met him before, one of my homies. So we ended up saying, what's up, Snoop? And we walked over to him, and they was like, my homie rap, He was like, what's your name? I was like, Bad Azz. He started laughing. He's like, oh. So I bust a rap for him, and about a week later, I was going to my homie's house, Lil J and Shorty K. They was like my good friends. They was new, but I was hanging with them because I ran into him in the neighborhood. My homie Darachi knew him, and he was like, as Lil J had like a little Jerry curl, he looked like a little Easy-E to us. So we used to always joke before we really knew him good. I used to be like, look at Lil Easy-E and Ren, him and Shorty. So one day my homie was like, yo, I shot dice with them boys and they rap. He like, they tight. I'm gonna hook you up with them. So me and those dudes met over music anyway, and we was young teenagers, and they lived around the corner from my house. So like every day I would go over there and mess with them. And a week after I met Snoop, I was walking to their house, and Lil C-Style and my homie Ty Cuz from the Dog Pound, rest in peace, he was sitting out in front of Big C-Style's house. And they just recognized me from rapping with Snoop the week before. And they was like, that was the little nigga that was rapping with Snoop last week. And they was like, man, Snoop liked your shit. He said you was hard. And I was like, nuh-uh. And so they was telling me, yo, he come over here all the time. I was like, yeah, right. So I probably kicked it with those guys like 2-3 weeks a month before Snoop came over there. I used to be probably like 2 weeks later, I'm like, y'all be bullshitting. Snoop don't be coming over here. And then Big C-Style was like, no, Bad Azz, that's my little homie and this, that, and the other. And, he really talked highly of you. He said you was one of the dopest kids around here that he heard recently, So I just kind of stayed around, and Big Style was like, man. And then so Snoop came over one day. I don't know. I kind of remember the first time because C-Style called me. I had his number. He had my number, and he was like, Bad Azz, Snoop coming over, come through. And so I remember I went over there, and that was like really my first time kicking it with him. Like we smoked weed, and we talked and did some raps and shit in the kitchen. We had the homie little apartment. So it was just cool. And then after that, we just kind of bonded. Like I would see him here, I would see him there. He gave me he had a beeper, pager and shit, so I would page him and talk to him. He'd call me back here and there, talking shit to me. That was like my fondest memories, because it was like, I didn't really trip that he was only a couple years older than me. So mind you, he like 20 years old. I'm like 16, 17. He would call me and just bag on me, talk shit. What you doing, motherfucker? You sitting in the closet eating cereal, trying to find a way to get to the studio, just funny ass jokes and shit, and I would start bagging on him. And so we just developed like a real cool relationship to where I would see him, I'd ask him for brooches out his ashtray and shit, And so he would, as I kicked it with him, probably I said about a year. I knew him about a year. I'd be like, what's up, man? Sign me, man. Give me a record deal and all this. And I got you, Bad Azz. I got you. And one day C-Style called me and was like, Bad Azz, Snoop wants you to come to the studio. And that was like 94. And that was it. From there, we just started making music together because our relationship had been a couple years. We had developed a cool relationship. I was comfortable with him. You know, he introduced me to Daz, Corrupt, Nate Dogg. I already knew Warren G. I met Warren G. Some of my family knew him. Warren G dated a girl at my school. I talked to him there. My cousin was cool with him, so I knew Warren G.
Did you know Warren G as like Dr. Dre's was his half brother or step brother?
Well, they used to talk about it. I knew of him as that, but I never had seen him like with Dre or nothing like that. People like my family and people used to talk, that's Dre brother, you know? Yeah. Like in the city, they used to say that. But I used to remember him because they was even saying that stuff, and he used to pick up this girl at school, and I went to this Reed continuation high school, and that was like around that time, like 93, like 92, 93, I was going there, and I would always say Warren G. He didn't really fuck with me back then. I used to say what's up to him all the time, but he didn't really fuck with me until like he found out Snoop wanted to make music with me, and then I think he's kind of like, oh, Snoop fuck with him, but they was all a little older than me anyway. Yeah. You know?
You ever order any Sniffin' Griffin barbecue? Like,
oh no, not yet. I've been hearing about it. Honestly, that's like, I have a few passions in life. Like music is probably my all-time favorite thing to do on earth.
Yeah.
But I've like developed all of the other things that I like to do around that. Like, I haven't drawn a lot of stuff I draw here and there, but I'm an artist. I draw, you know, and I love to cook. I probably cook better than everybody in this hotel.
Wow.
The chef. No, for real. But yeah. I was thinking about going to culinary school, but I feel kind of like what's that dude? Gucci. Shout out Gucci. They asked him on an interview recently, like, if you weren't as rich as you are, would you go back and do this? And I'm like, who thinks of that? Because this is my thing. When you were a teenager or a kid from the hood that's poor, and you ever open a box of cereal and some roaches came out, or you watch your mom cry or feel bad about not having all her rent money and how I'm gonna get it and all this type shit. Have you ever seen that type shit? That shit, you know, that put a scar on your soul. That shit stick with you forever. So when you become successful enough to make your decisions in this rat race, then hip hop is the business that gives people confidence to not work a regular job. Yeah. It does. It's not just the money. I've seen people broke in hip hop. I've been there. I've literally been $0 in the bank, and I will not get a regular job. Not because I got pride, not because I feel too big. I already know what the rat race is gonna do. I'm gonna go get a regular job, and I'm gonna be stuck in that rigmarole. I'd rather be an artist and try to sell a painting. That's how I look at it. I'm broke, fuck it. One of my paintings are gonna sell. One of my songs are gonna sell. Somebody's gonna put me in a movie. I'm fucking talented. I'm gonna draw one picture that's gonna go postal, you know? So, but when you have that kind of confidence, that's what hip hop does to you. And, you know, I would go back to school. There's certain things that I would do, but honestly, why go back and do something that you tried hard to skip over anyway? You feel me?
Yeah.
I don't care, work at McDonald's, shit like that. I never had a regular, I don't want to work at McDonald's. I want to see what it's fucking like.
Yeah.
For real. If I do, then I'll go to one of my friends that own a McDonald's and go spend the day there.
Yeah.
Flip some burgers that day and go home and be like, yeah, this is cool. This is what they do here. I've been to jail before, but I don't want to spend a long time. You know, I feel like it was a field trip. You know, you drunk, you know what I mean? You ain't paid some tickets and shit, police pull you over. You drunk? No, they all right, I ain't gonna give you a DUI, but you got a warrant, you gotta go down for a couple days or whatever, you know? And every time I'm there, I'm pissed off. I'm like, fuck, I'm in jail. And I'm sitting next to some guy who got like some paperwork that's like, yo, I'm facing an attempted murder. No, for real. So it changed your whole perspective of shit. I'm like, shit, I can't be feeling uncomfortable in here. I'll be out in less than 72 hours or something. Even if it's 2 weeks, a month, 6 months. It's motherfuckers that's finna spend the rest of their life in there, you know? Some dude crying next to you like, can I use the phone after you? I might never go home again, you know? So you learn to appreciate shit, and you know, you start realizing that you have something, whatever it is. If it's just, you know, you waking up, going in front of your house and smoking a nasty ass cigarette, you know, you have freedom in your life to do certain things. So you try to keep that intact and try to maintain that, because nothing is more important than you. How could you be anybody? You know, that's what makes me respect the wave of hip hop and any person that could get up every day. It's not that I don't respect a person that works at any job. There would be no Walmart if somebody didn't ring you up. You feel me? So it's never that I have no respect for the job because I wouldn't do it. I just know how to earn a living in a different way. I'm not standing behind no register at Walmart. I'll stand behind a register at any business I own. I will. That's where my humbleness comes. I take the trash out at any home, at any business I own. You feel me? I am the janitor at my business. But that's the difference between me and some people. I'm going to be the janitor at my own business. I'm not going to be taking out trash at McDonald's or Wendy's or Walmart. I'm not going to be ringing up people knowing what Walmart makes, what the Waltons make. I'm just one of those kind of people. I'm trying to turn my family to the Waltons. Gotcha. Everybody don't think like that.
So you're with the Eastsiders. You guys, what happened with the Eastsiders?
Well, the Eastsiders we gave Trady and Goldie Loke the name from LBC Crew. Daz gave us the name. The Eastsiders was an alternate name that we had for the LBC Crew initially, because of us leaving Death Row and us trying to do our own thing. Snoop trying to do his own thing with us without Death Row. We recorded our first records at a studio that was facilitated by Suge Knight and Death Row. So the Eastsiders were the LBC Crew originally? Yeah, well, not Trady and Goldie.
Okay.
Just the name. The name was ours. What happened was LBC Crew, we couldn't use it at a certain point. Like, we did all our first stuff with Death Row, so by us not wanting to be with Death Row and all of our stuff, basically Suge ended up having all the rights to the shit anyway. We recorded our first songs there, everything. This was just new stuff that we wasn't really totally aware of. I don't think Snoop was like super aware of that stuff at that point. We just started recording new stuff. He wasn't planning on doing that stuff with Suge, but realistically, Suge had rented the spot, the facility that was.
Because you guys had that song that was on the movie. What's the? It was
Thin Line Between Love and Hate. We did a whole album. So the story behind that, Snoop hooked up with us. He started getting his own artists. He became, big enough to put artists out. He started planning on it. He came up with the LBC Crew, which was a group that he made up, that he came up with the name, and he kind of dynamically put the artists together, which was me, Lil C Style, and Technique. And also had a roster of other artists like Superfly, Trady, South Central, who else? LT Hutton was a producer, artist on Doggy Style. He sings and makes beats. He's actually produced Tupac, All Eyes on Me movie. It's a few other people that was kind of in the early days with us, but bottom line, Snoop was trying to do basically his own Death Row. Yeah. He came with us. The LBC Crew kind of got misunderstood in the world of hip hop because it was 5 of us on the first song that we was introduced to the world on. What Snoop was trying to do then, if people, it was, back then we talked about it, we did radio interviews, and you could kind of go back and dig some of that stuff up, but I think some of it was missed or either overlooked or misconstrued because Snoop had a whole roster of artists. He had a group called LBC Crew, which was me, Technique, and Lil C Style. He had Trey D, which was a solo artist. South Central, which was a solo artist. They end up hooking up doing Dropping the Bombs on the show soundtrack, that was their debut record. The next record, Trey D, Trey D debuted on 21 Jump Street with Snoop Dogg, and then him and Centrell did Dropping the Bombs, which was her debut record. And then the next record that Trey D put out was with us, LBC Crew. Now, mind you, Snoop is doing a great job at developing artists at the time. Trey D's featuring on this, he's featuring on this. He's getting his name out there on stuff. When we did the LBC Crew song, the Beware My Crew, we had already did almost a whole album. I think our album might have been done. Our album, if it wasn't done, it was like 80% done, and Snoop was planning on putting it out, kind of doing some shopping, letting people hear. People always on Snoop Dogg. He had already finished his, the Dr. Dre album was out, the Doggy Style album was out. Doggy Style was triple, quadruple platinum or something, and we was right there. That's exactly where we was at. What's the next stuff coming out from Snoop Dogg? That's where I was at with him. So we started doing LBC Crew. Bottom line, Martin Lawrence, who was a good friend with him, Bobby Brown, they hit him. Like, we need something for you for this movie. I'm working with LBC Crew and Trey D and South Central. Let me throw one of their songs on there. And we was already going through turmoil trying to get the Death Row, Doggy Style shit kind of ironed out. What was we going to do? Was Snoop going to do Doggy Style under Death Row, or was he going to take it somewhere else? That was the whole thing. And then, when someone is not playing fully fair and you got a platform like Snoop and you have that kind of status as a recording artist, you definitely want to have the best business. So I think that it was in his best interest to start planning to leave that situation.
So what was it like being on Death Row?
It was dynamic. It was a lot of highs and lows. It was my first, my first rodeo with music, my first professional experience with music. I can honestly say that it was better than worse. A lot of rumors made it feel like being at Death Row was like, some kind of boot camp or some shit.
Well, that was in the song, right?
Yeah, Easy said that. Like, I heard getting treated like boot G's. Camp. Yeah. But that was a rumor. That was totally false. Like, I used to be like that kid at Death Row right there. I used to be like Jaden. I'd be sleeping on a pillow on the floor. Like, it was non-threatening to me. As far as me personally, I didn't feel threatened. I came to Death Row with, like, I don't know how many of us it was. It wasn't like 100, but yeah, it was a good 20 of the homies around. It might be a shabby day where it's only like 6, 7 of us. Yeah. But if 10 people, 20 people did something to us 7, y'all wasn't finna have a good day next week. We was bad. Yeah. We was badass kids. I was packing a pistol every day going to Can-Am. You feel me? Yeah. It was Bloods, it was Crips up there. I'm from Long Beach, but I don't gangbang. But I seen the Bloods, and I know the street scene, I wasn't finna get bullied by no tough guys. I'd have blew somebody away and been in the pen right now. So all of that, making it like it was a living hell for us to record music, that's a fucking rumor. Suge Knight was nice to me. At the end, I got into it with him. I had a couple of harsh words with him. I ended up getting jumped by his entourage in like 2003 or something, but I totally understood the whole thing. It's almost like a political war. It was like, It was more politics than some personal shit. Suge didn't have shit with me. I was involved in a political war. I was with a team that left a team, that not only left the team, but helped the team become so huge. Of course his interest is there. That's all that fool wanted. But goddamn, if you have a good wife, if you have a good business partner, if you have a good friend, be a good friend back, dickhead. Yeah. That shit'll last long.
So why'd they jump you?
Huh? Oh, because I'm dog pound and they Death Row and we took Death Row. We unplugged that shit. Where is it now? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we was in the middle of a war. We leaving. We seeing who gon' survive in this war. You see who survived. You know, and I look at like Snoop getting a star on the sidewalk, Dazz being free. You know, Corrupt being free. Me. I can name all our homies. Nate Dogg died of natural causes. Death Row didn't hurt him. You know what I'm saying? So we won the war. We won the war. Dog pound for life. We took down moguls. You feel me? And we still here rapping and rocking. So that's it. And don't get me wrong. I say it like that, like some kid shit, but some real shit is that was our plan. You think we wanted to be dead and washed up and have Death Row be big as Bad Boy right now or big as some company and they smashed all of us, swept us under the rug, beat Snoop, slapped him up, killed Bad Azz, come on, man. That was a real war. Suge would have washed us out if he could have. And every little million that he got, that was some dude that wanted to, you know, step on the next guy's neck to become bigger. He had them all. He had the money to pay him. He had the shit. But look, we right here. We moved strategically. We lay low when it was time to lay low. We bust guns when it was time to bust guns. We punched faces when it was time to punch faces. We rapped when it was time to rap. This how dynamic and how smart we were. We dissed fools on our records when we had to, and then we made hit records at wartime that didn't have nothing to do with them because we was smart. Because you can't just spend your whole career, your whole art. You're an artist and you're at war with another artist. You can't spend your whole career making diss records because your fans ain't gonna love it. So, yeah, we gave them hit records while we was dissing. We shut down Death Row. We dissed most of the artists that Suge tried to bring. So, yeah, we was at war. And we sat down and huddled up, and Snoop, you know, got us in huddles, and me and some of the homies talked. Me and Dazz did, you ain't shit. We went at him. We went at him, so, you know.
What was your opinion of the Suge Knight sentence?
God bless him, and I feel like the less harshest way I could say is something like you reap what you sow, or you know what comes around goes around. I don't have anything negative or bad to say. I'm not gonna clap because some guy got 28 years, but I don't care if I ever see him again in life if that's not too harsh.
I think you and Dazz feel similar about that. He said the same thing.
I love Dazz. Dazz is one of my best friends. But I feel like we don't come from a place where somebody tries to harm you over and over and over again, and you don't fucking clap when they fall, or you don't fucking cheer when they bump their head. We just from a different era. I'm 43 years old, and I'm mature enough to not get on television and say F somebody that just got sentenced to the rest of their life. You feel me? But realistically, like, I don't care what happened to Slime Balls, and not speaking on him. I'ma always be like that to the rest of my life. You're a how would you say? Okay, we look at like the word murderer, right? If someone breaks in your house and you kill someone, you're not a murderer. You killed someone, but that word gets misconstrued. But filthy murderers, rapists, like bad people, I'm not cool with them, bro. I'm a superhero for good. I'm a gangster for good. You know what I'm saying? I protect my sisters. I protect the dudes in my life that can't fight. You're not gonna mess with my scary homie. You're not gonna mess with my wimpy homie, my nerdy homie, because he sit behind a desk and do nerd shit, and he don't do karate, and he don't do cock back and put bullets in your body. He don't do that. I was born a tough guy. I was raised by tough guys. That's how I am. We could bar brawl, nigga. We could shoot it out 10 steps and draw. You ain't messing with my children. You ain't messing with my friends. So when you come from that era, of course we don't feel too bad when somebody falls when they've been shooting at us. So it's just a different thing when you're as old and as mature as us. I do feel like maybe Dad should have been a little light with his, with his expressions on it. But at the end of the day, like I said, that's one of my best friends. If you're mad with what he said, I still got his back, because realistically, you're not finna make a piece of shit, and I'm not talking about no one right now, you're not finna make a piece of shit look golden because you sprinkle some gold sprinkles on it and then tell my friend he's bad because he's telling you it's a piece of shit.
I heard you used to have a nickname for Suge. What was that?
I don't know. We had honestly, this wasn't my nickname, but we used to call him like Santa Claus and Simon Says. because yeah, he knows. He even put on one of the records, executive produced by Simon. But those weren't my nicknames that I gave him. But yeah, we used to call him that stuff. Like, we'll be like, "Here comes Santa Claus," because he was big. He wear red. But honestly, just since I did speak on this guy on this interview and make sure these kind of things ain't cut out, because I have way more love for him than I probably should. And I think I love him more than he loves me. And I don't think that it's a negative bone in my body to feel like some kind of malice way about what's happening to him. I do feel like sometimes people get what they deserve. He might be reaping what he sowed, but it's not for me to judge. Like, I would have never sentenced him to that time myself. I would have never got on the jury and said that. I sat back from home, watched what he did to himself, and it happened. I had nothing to do with it.
A lot of people say that no, Terry and Suge, they said he would have never purposely killed him.
No. Terry and Suge went there together.
Yeah.
They was cool. That was an accident, true. But what my point is, perfect example. Look what happens when you, and like I said, again, not speaking on him, but you murder 7-10 people and then you go to jail for life on some dumbass DUI and they find out some bullshit, you know? And it's not because of that per se. But bottom line, you just have to carry yourself in a fashion where you know what comes around goes around and be willing to, you know what I'm saying, take the slaps in the face that you gave out.
Yeah.
You know? Because it's like me. Like I said, I'm a tough guy. I'm just smart. I'm not finna go in a bar, get drunk, slap 3 or 4 people, and be mad because I get dusted off on the way to the car.
Yeah.
You know? I'm just not that kind of person. I'm not gonna cry about it. I'm not gonna come half-assed to defend my sister against some guy who slapped the dog shit out of her or beat her up, and then he fucked me up too.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy. I don't give a fuck if I gotta hide on top of the building and jump off when you get in your car, you know, with a rake and a hammer and a fucking gun. I'm gonna win it. I'm gonna sneak up behind you and fuck you up for touching my sister, because that's the strategy. It's not about, this is the thing. You get in the ring with Mike Tyson, you box him. I think that if I box Floyd Mayweather with gloves on, with the whole rigmarole of boxing, he's gonna beat me up. But let that nigga come in the neighborhood talking shit, acting like Floyd Mayweather, the hardest boxer in the world. He might get clapped, or, you know what I'm saying? And no disrespect to Floyd, but just saying, you can't come in another man's arena and expect him to fight your fight in his arena.
Yeah.
Because I might blow your ass away if you a Karate Kid. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna win this, nigga. I come from that era. So, you know, it's like being smart enough to retreat. You know, some people would call it running. No. Any smart warrior, you know, read The Art of War by Sun Tzu. It's a time to retreat.
Yeah.
In war, it's a time to retreat. It's not called running. In the hood, they be like, he ran. No, if you got 6 guns and I don't got nothing, dude. If I hop out the car with a knife and I see you got a pistol, I'm a retreat. That's called retreat. And I'm retreating in a fashion so you can't fucking shoot me in the back while I'm leaving with this gun.
Yeah.
Because when I come back with this gun, now let's see how your war is. I seen you got out with a pistol. I'm going to come back with 8 guns, a rifle, a pistol. I might have a grenade to roll under your car. So let's play now. I didn't know you was going there. But if you would have got me, you would have got me. I hopped out with the knife, you got me. I brought a knife to a gunfight, you did. Sometimes we trying to be smarter than that. We trying to live to the next battle. So that's it. That's how I feel about Death Row overall, that Dog Pound's still here. We still making music. All my homies is here. The war went on. And regardless of what battles was lost, regardless of what, you know, situations happened in between, the details, the overall is my homie just got a star on the sidewalk.
Yeah, congratulations.
Bad Azz just dropped a new album last month. Daz and Corrupt got new shit coming out. You know, we all in our 40s. It's a beautiful thing.
So what's the future looking like for Bad Azz? Like, what are we doing?
I'm fucking retiring on y'all. My last song I just said, I don't come outside a lot no more. They gotta pay me. You feel me? But no, I'm having fun, and I want to be like my favorite rapper, Ice Cube. I want to be like Snoop. You know, shout out to them. I don't mean it in a young little boy way, but I still look up to those dudes in a major way, and I want to be, you know, Dr. Dre-ish soon. I don't want to be chasing this shit. I'm still at a level today that financially, all my desires, places I want to perform. Like my bucket list ain't all checked off. So these next 3 to 5 years, I'm trying to check off my bucket list and be chilling. Whether it's doing shit, whether it's making music, on some Jay-Z, you know, come out of retirement. I say I'm retired and I'm still making songs because you can never really retire from hip hop. You love it so much. Somebody call Jay-Z right now, he gonna get on a song with a hot kid, you know? So I just want to honestly be retired within the next 7 to 10 years and, you know, do whatever I do after that. Get the money that I want to retire with right now, add it to what I've been doing. And I got a couple companies that I'm trying to, you know, make sure it's prominent before I sit down and hand some of these batons to my kids and some of my cousins and some of my fans and friends that's been around here and just run it up in a different way. Like right now, I think it's fun. I was waiting to take this cork out of my shit. So the future of Bad Azz is like catching up with my homies in album releases. Like Daz probably got 10 solo albums. I got like 5. So I'm trying to catch them as far as numbers wise and not just put out a gang of bullshit, but I got some quality music, I got some stuff, and I'm gonna do things a little bit different, meaning like 2019, I'm starting the album out with the Penthouse album. It's been done for a little hot second. It's not old, but it's been done. I'm putting that out January. I got a couple other little things following. By next year, this time, I want to have like at least 4 more solo records out and a couple of other projects. So next year, I'm gonna treat it like how I would have treated 5 or 10 years, 20 years ago. Now it's smaller. You know, it's like you could. Back then, you put out a hit record. You don't put out a record for 2 years, 3 years. Doggy Style came out in '93. Dogfather came out in '97. That's 4 years. And Snoop toured the world all those 4 years, and it was like the hottest record still. You really can't do that right now. You got the biggest record in the world. 4 years ago, Drake probably put out a 5 million seller, and he's doing new songs now. He's performing those songs, yeah. True, but it's not like he put that out and didn't put out nothing for 4 years and still bubbling off that record. He probably wouldn't even be Drake if he did that.
Are you and Ray J friends now?
I absolutely have nothing with Ray J. He is not someone I would consider my friend. I thought about this recently because somebody else had asked me on the streets. And I was like, damn, I had to put it in a dynamic fashion. And it was funny because I didn't know I was going to get this opportunity or this was going to come up in this conversation because I would have never brought him up. But in the 90s, I was friends with Ray J. He was Brandy's brother. Knew of him from that. I never met him through Brandy. I met him through some of my homies. And became cool with him. Did songs with him, kicked it with him, defended him on a couple of occasions when his name came up bad. Me personally, I'm a lover. I hate no one. I had a cool outlook on this kid. I had love for him. You know, it hasn't really changed. I just look at him different. You know, my love don't really change. If I love you, I love you. You know, so I got love for the kid. Friends know I haven't really talked to him since all that shit. He got me jumped. So one of my friends was like, Bad Azz, don't say that like that because it makes it like you give Ray J too much credit. Ray J didn't put no hit on me. He didn't tell nobody to jump me. He didn't have some dudes come beat me up. The nigga ran his big ass mouth to some people I was beefing with, and I didn't know, and he's supposed to be my friend at the time. And when I run into these dudes, high-fiving these niggas thinking it's cool, they pull me to the side and jump me, talking about, oh, you told Ray J fuck me and this, that, and the other. So at that point, I looked at it like you're not my friend. You feel me? When I reached out to him and tried to talk to him, whatever it was, my first initial acts, the nigga acted like Hollywood, like, fuck you, Bad Azz, like, I don't gotta talk to you. So I was always like, I'ma fuck the nigga up. I started seeing him with Snoop more. I don't know if that's what he did to covet. I introduced Snoop and Ray J. No bullshit. You feel me? No bullshit. Took Ray J to Canada. He met Snoop. They started saying they was cousins from Mississippi, all that shit. Bottom line, I never had it with Ray J to where I just wanted to go smash on him every time I seen him. I wanted him to take accountability for what he did to me, meaning you talk to some people that I got jumped by probably 7, 8 to 10 guys, and there was probably 20, 30 guys there. If anything would have really, really happened to me bad, I would be doing something to this dude for real. Like I would have been hurt somebody he loved. Like you're not gonna let like the only reason it's lived down is because I lived through a situation that really hurt my feelings, that physically hurt me a little bit, but didn't fuck me up, leave me no scars for life. And it was more of an embarrassment than anything to have everybody in the hip hop industry know that Death Row caught me, jumped me because of something this dumbass dude said. But the real is, I never got cool with him because he never called me. He never talked to me. He never apologized to me. If I see him right now, he act tough. If he's by himself, he gonna act like a bitch. If he's with 80 niggas, we'll see how he act. But I know how he's gonna act. He's gonna act tough. So my thing is, I have nothing with him until he takes this thing farther. And I say it live on the radio, if Ray J ever play me like that shit was cool, I will fuck him up as somebody that he loves real close. And I mean it. I will go to jail showing that dude how to treat me. So long as he leave it at that, if I see him tonight, I have nothing to say to him. I might do a little what's up just to check his temperature, but I don't care if I never see him again in life. I have no beef with him. I don't want to hunt him down. You know, I don't have no desire to punch him again or do nothing. But that dude play with me like he playing, I would throw everything away. I will kiss my kids goodbye and I will make a mockery of him. So long as he don't bother me, we cool.
So I take it, not friends right now, but maybe in the future.
Man, if Ray J talked to me nice, man, you never know what happened. I'm not out to keep enemies, you know, and he was a friend of mine. Like if he was somebody that I never was cool with, then maybe it wouldn't be no reconciliation, but it would take for him to be a man and say that other than that, me, I'm just going on about my way, you know, but play with me. And then I see you like that, yeah, I'll do a U-turn in traffic. I'll pull up on the side of your car and act like a fucking nigga from Wakanda. So,
well, man, we really appreciate you coming by the show today, man. And, you know, you're always welcome back here. And,
thanks.
I know the traffic was...
Let's get it. Let me plug my shit. $$ Records for show. Bad Azz in the house. Thuggin' how we do it. Shout out to the Dog Pound, Low Life Gangsters. And I started my own clothing line. I'm gonna try to get it out in the fall next year. But it's Love Stains designed by Bizzolini. So y'all gonna be seeing a lot of stuff from Bizzolini. I've been had a keen eye on fashion and art and all that shit. So I've been designing my shit and I'm gonna get it out there. I'm gonna clothe everybody and you know, we're going to keep this hip-hop thing rolling. Check out all my new records, New Adventures of Bad Azz out now, Penthouse album coming out January 2019, and a whole slew of shit. If these guys ain't ready, then, yeah, I'm going to be really an item again, you know? Because we'll see. Hip-hop is big. I can't really call no shots, but I know what I'm about to do. I'm about to put out a lot of really good, hard shit. Whoop, whoop. What's up, world? Mr. Bad Azz thuggin' how I usually do. You know how we get it. The New Adventures is now. And you are now watching Urban City TV.